These are the single most important questions that legal education has to answer. And if we get professional identity right, everything else falls into place, to include teaching how to deal with the client from a holistic, compassionate perspective. And I want to talk about preventing law students from going to fear to despair, which is what is actually happening right now in legal education. They come in terrified and they leave destroyed from a social perspective because it's not what they thought it was going to be. It doesn't answer those questions. And I want to share a way that we answer the question built around the idea of a notional client. Why notional? Because I can control it. What I'm talking about are simulated experiential learning opportunities where every variable is within the control. You might know them as competitions. You probably think of them as either plays or Little League for lawyers, or you might see them as just an absolute phenomenal waste of time. Now that's an assumption, and we all know what happens when we assume things, right? There's a reality that exists in your law schools right now, that exists in the profession that you might not be aware of. The competitions of yesterday are not the competitions of today, and they won't be the competitions of tomorrow. The National Civil Trial Competition last year in Los Angeles was a copyright infringement case based upon Led Zeppelin stealing the lyrics from Stairway to Heaven. The students had to understand musical theory. They had to deal with expert witnesses, and they had to present this and understand it. Now at Stetson, we have a methodology for creating advocates who our employers tell us are the equivalent of a 3 to 5 year associate when they come out the door of the law school, with a clear sense of professional identity. And I've been thinking about it a lot since Dave came down and talked to us at our conference in May about professional identity. And I think we're doing some things that are empowering the student. And it's the type of thing that you can do in any other school, in any other program, and I wanted to share them with you. We choose them. We pick them out. We tell them that they are special. And the very act of being told that you have something special inside of you places it there or allows it to come forward. So when we pick a kid, they've now been chosen, and then we sort them. And when I say sort them, we sort them not only based upon ability, but upon desires, upon their concept of what it means to be a lawyer, of who they want to be, and why they want to be that person. And then we track them to opportunities to experience that type of lawyering. And we do it with one-on-one individualized instruction, with doctrinal professors, with practicing adjuncts, with former members of our competition teams, and we teach in a way that you don't get to teach at any other level. And because we're not worried about the client except for notionally, we can reconstruct. And this enhances communication skills, which benefits the student in multiple ways. Peer-wise, superior-subordinate, and attorney-client. And it lets us apply the law in a context so that they get to use substance, procedure, and the desire to persuade, to communicate holistically together. And they build teams with each other because they have to build the team to survive. And they learn that collaboration in the law is not a weakness, it's a strength. And then we send them to competitions, which is a crucible that burns away all of the BS. In that moment, you are on the stage and you have no choice but to perform. There is so much that is learned by the student and so much that the professor gets to do in that moment. You get to mentor dealing with disappointment, handling success, what happens when your client or your co-counsel craps the bed, and you can teach it and deconstruct it. And the student is held accountable by themselves to the standard that they've created, by their peers, by their professor, and by the profession who's involved in the creation of the competition and the judgment of the performance. And there is a great opportunity that we see because it develops leadership. Leadership in the law at the student level, because the senior students help the junior students, and all of the students mentor the other members of the community. I have 20% of the law school population at our school in any given year involved in this sort of endeavor. And they learn to deal with winning and losing when the only thing that's on the line is their formation of professional identity. No one's going to jail, no one's losing money. It builds identity. This is one of my trial teams who bring themselves together after every event, every class, to hold each other in their arms and to support each other. Across the rainbow, they do this every year. And what it creates is a lawyer that, to some degree, I'm proud of, but I'm also humbled by, because they get what it means to be part of this profession, and they then pay it forward. And that really is ultimately what we want from our students. Thank you.